Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So this feels like, I don't know, this is like an impromptu. I mean, that's how it feels, but I can't plan it. We're doing a reading. It's a reading like I've never done before. So I just came up with a new spread. I tried it on myself. I was done reading me. It was depressing. So I thought, let's just read you guys. That's more fun. So we are going to do spiritual success and activation reading. So I asked a question on my channel. If you guys could ask the universe anything, what would you ask it? Some of them are pretty interesting questions. And I kind of created this reading based on a few different answers or responses to that. So it's deep shit. I've showed up. I got no socks or shoes on. I'm barefoot. My hair is like wild. I feel like you just walked into the witch's hut. So let's do it. Okay. Let's see what this is. We've got, I haven't pulled it out in a while, quite a long while. We're really going wild unknown in this because I feel like if I'm going to channel, well, for these questions, there's going to be some channeling involved. Oh, I forgot to turn the lights on. So I hope it's bright enough. Oh, well, you can hear me. So wild unknown, archetype, wild unknown, oracle, wild unknown, tarot. Also, when I combine all three of these decks, I find that the amount of information that can come through on much deeper levels, I need to just take a pause sometimes and just suck it up. So if you do see like a little bloop in the editing, it's just because at some point, probably once you get all the cards out, maybe sometime after, I will just feel like, I really need to just let it come in. Instead of you just staring at me, do nothing for 10 minutes, I'm just going to edit that out. So what we're going to do here, we're going to ask the area of your life where you are disheartened, the area of your life that you are disheartened about, or like that you feel the most blocked in. How does this block shape the course of your life is the next question. What can you activate in your life right now? Right now, what can you activate in your life? Just so you know, I was pretty much told to suck it up and be patient when I did this reading on myself. So, don't worry. Okay. So I get shitty messages too. How can you move away from your worries? Those are the 4 questions that we're going to ask in this reading. Yeah. And then there was an extended, I'll get into that at the end of this if you're interested. So Aquarius, look at you. First up, first on deck. Let's go. Up to bat. Come on, Aquarius. Let's see. Let's see. We're going to pull these out. I might get instant messages, but then I really do think I'm going to sit and contemplate. Even for myself, I contemplated. And I don't usually do that. Oh, shit. Okay. Aquarius. The area of their life that they are most disheartened about or feel most blocked in. How does this block shape the course of your life? What can you activate in your life right now? And how can you move away from your worries? Okay, area of your life you are disheartened about. The shaman. So there's a spiritual aspect here. It could even be like how you interpret your own spiritual journey. I get the thing too with this card, like there's this diamond, and then there's a snake and skulls. So there's something here about understanding or coming to terms with the difference between your physical journey and your spiritual journey, and some sort of collapse in between of those 2 points. How does this block shape the course of your life? The self. Wow. Well, anything that you've ever tried to achieve on the outside of you, it's bullshit. This is about the self. How does this block? So this block, wow, definitely, like it's things that, just think of that, the diamond, like things in our world that we either try to accumulate or we try to, it has a bit of a Taurus or second house energy, like the things that you possess. The things that you possess, and you possess them because they make you feel stable. They give you a sense of who you are. There's definitely an ego breakdown in what I'm seeing here. First of all, particularly too with the self coming up, is how this shapes the course of your life. It's shaping you. Like, it's shaping you. It's changing you. You can't come out of this unchanged. But with this, though, is to find the greatest pearl of wisdom that you ever did seek was inside yourself the whole time. There was nothing that anybody, there was no video that you could go to, there was no book that you could read, there was no self-help group that you could attend that would ever have given you the answer that you're going to, or you will find, or you have found inside yourself. And this is where everything grows. You could take this pearl and you could create the most profound things outside of yourself beyond this diamond that you never would have comprehended in the past. And you won't even see that much value in it. Others will. They're like, holy crap, look what Aquarius is creating. And it's almost like you'll just always recognize it as, well, that's something that will just break down anyways. That was something that will dissolve, that will erode, corrode. But where it came from within you, but that's the story. So you know, right? Okay, what can you activate in your life right now? I put that in there because a lot of the people asking questions were like, I'm tired of healing. And it was funny, I got the answers to that. I got, I'm tired of healing, I just want to stay broken. Was sort of like the ego response to that. But it is, you know, people get tired of like constantly healing, constantly waiting, constantly patient. But yeah, so what can you activate in your life right now? The Siren. Oh, isn't that interesting? There's a naughty side to you. There's definitely going into some sort of shadow that's not necessarily bad. It might just be seen as bad by others. I have to develop that I'm going to definitely see where that goes. But that's interesting. It pulls things in too. I think that the Siren, it pulls in unsuspecting victims. That's what you can activate in yourself right now. Your unsuspecting victims. How can you move away from your worries? The vow. Wow. Well, that's really interesting. The vow. How can you move away from your worries? How many hands are there? There's 3 hands in this vow. What's interesting, there's a hand here that's reaching out. Area of your life you are disheartened about or feel the most blocked in. This hand is, because I thought I was going to see like 2 hands, but there's 3. There might be some sort of third-party energies that you were involved in. You can definitely like move away from, but it feels more like a thought. Like, how can you move away from your worries? Well, maybe physically move away from, and a third party doesn't have to be romantic. It just could be like too many different interests involved in something here. The unseen. Wow. The unseen is at the bottom. Isn't that interesting? How does this block and shape the course of your life? It's the self. It totally. This is a very deep, whatever you're here for or whatever is being discussed for you, it's a development of the self. But it's almost like you're particles of yourself right now. It's like you're little tiny particles of yourself. And even if you looked in the mirror, you don't really truly see what you are going to become. It still may seem unseen. Let's keep going here. Now it's really curious too, because this card has a big round diamond in it, right? And it's just floating in space. And then this card also has a diamond in it, but it's more like an oval. And it's at the base of these 3 hands. There's like 2 hands like this. And then there's another one. Now, that also feels like having done that, it's like 2 people's hands coming together in some sort of an agreement or a vow. And then this other hand solidifies it, you know, like, like if it was a ceremony, the person running the ceremony would bind these 2 together. How you can move away from your worries. It might be to take some sort of a vow too. This could be some sort of a vow to commit to a journey that you have for yourself. It could be a vow that you have to commit to someone around you. It could be a vow, I'm hearing like a vow of celibacy as well. It's really interesting. It could be a vow maybe of, I don't know, if you've been in more open relationships to not, because there's something about moving away from your worries. And the Siren. What in God's name? No. You guys are complicated. My reading was not like this. Y'all are complicated. Area of your life you're most disheartened. The dolphin. Healing. Your spiritual healing. That you feel either the most blocked in or the most disheartened about. You may be losing spiritual faith a little bit here. There may be a struggle to find happiness within your spiritual journey. You don't need to struggle to find it. You don't even have to find it. Your spiritual journey doesn't have to be happy. A lot of times it's not, to be honest. People go on and on about wanting a spiritual journey. I want spiritual ascension. Usually those that are seeking it aren't even going to find it. It seeks you. So, having said that, if this is part like of a struggle here, it kind of feels like to me that it has sought you out, which is very profound. And it's something to do with yourself. This is how this block is shaping you to no longer find joy, fulfillment outside of anything but you. It's so easy to say that, but there's quite a process involved to getting to there. How this block shapes the course of your life. Oh, the lion, the self. Wow. I want to say it removes false pride and creates genuine pride in who you are. It's very stoic. This lion is coming across to me like he would not roar. Because his bottom, his chin is kind of tucked in a little more deeply than like he's holding back. And that is also, I'm getting like dignity and humility. What can you activate in your life right now with the Siren? Wow, the black egg. This is like speaking out, speaking your truth. Tons of time. Both of these are like, oh, really, really purpley. Like, I think actually this black egg is associated with the throat chakra, But all the purple here I'm getting are really like crown chakra. The secret. Uncover the secret of you. God, doesn't this even look like the freaking egg? Like the shape and kind of the colors. I don't know. It feels like what you can activate in your life in some way doesn't even feel related to the other parts that I'm talking about and asking about. So, or maybe you don't have much control over what this is. You don't feel like you have a lot of control, or there isn't anything that you can particularly activate within or of it. You know, it just is happening in you and around you and of you. And but this feels a bit like there's a part of you that is magnetized. There's a part of you that I feel like you've kept small because it's incredibly powerful. And you can lure things in with this energy. And you could almost like destroy people with it. Like if you wanted to be that kind of a person. But I feel like you've never really activated it because on some level, it's almost like you're aware of some like a superpower that you have. It could be an animal magnetism. It could be, I don't know what, like it just kind of comes off as that, like kind of raw and untamed. There's a part of you here that you should kind of let it go, let it out. Let this be seen, let it be heard. There might be something too here about, you know, your own kind of spiritual success here. There being some sort of a concept of that all having to be like buttercups and roses, you know, everything is rainbows and butterflies. But your spiritual success also comes down to something dark within you, because without the dark, you're never going to find the light. So release this darkness in you. You can activate this in your life right now. What's the vow? How can you move away from your worries? Oh, that's the underline. Interesting, the owl. The bear. Well, there's some sort of connection here to like spiritual guides for you, or a spiritual guide could be ancestral. So you have the unseen and the owl. That's pretty interesting, because I always find the barn owl is the symbol of something coming in that there's no way of seeing it or hearing it, or it's completely undetectable. Yeah. Once we get these cards out, it's interesting you have the lion there, right, on the split. I'm going to just take a second and really sit with this. Uno moro. There might be some things that you want to engage in life that you do not necessarily associate with spiritual things. It's kind of funny. It's bringing something into my mind that kept coming in. It was a couple days ago. what was it? It was, oh, I don't know if it was a channel message or what it was, but it was, I hope I never become so spiritually ascended that I forget what it means to be human. There's a little bit of that sitting here. Hope that I never become so spiritually ascended that I forget what it means to be human. Because that is the most important journey. It really is. That in itself is the spiritual journey. The Eight of Pentacles, the area of your life you are most disheartened about or feel the most blocked in. You might be, okay, so this could just, now we're getting, of course we will with tarot. Once we bring the tarot in, it's going to make things a little more grounded and practical. There's either the work that you are doing spiritually that you are feeling like, I should feel happy. I should feel happy. I've done all this. I've accomplished this spiritually. I've accomplished this in myself. But it's like the work is not necessarily making you feel happy or healed. It feels like I'm still doing this work. I still feel like I'm missing out on things, even though I'm told that I should just be focused on the things within myself. The other part of this is that you might be doing something, just your work, your everyday work, and it doesn't bring you happiness or joy. It doesn't feel like a deeper calling. It just feels like, you know, I've seen somebody go into a bakery and baking bread. Or like, but these things are important, but it's kind of what you put into it that makes it important. And sometimes the things that we put in to what might seem like everyday mundane activities, we may not even realize the difference that makes in somebody's life. So one of the things that's coming up kind of like that is, like the energy that you hold within you. If you did something as, I don't even want to say as simple as bake bread, because baking bread, even that is just so symbolic of humanity's evolution and breaking bread with people. Like it's kind of what binds us. And bread is just a universal food, whether it has yeast in it and rises or it's a flatbread or whatever. It's like, you know, so even just using the example of bread, it's so simple, but it's so profound. But like I was told once, because I was making like hand creams and soaps and stuff years ago, and there was a psychic that I went to see a long time ago, and one of the things she said was that you have like a healing energy in your hands. So what you do with your hands, that goes through in anything that you touch or that you work with. So you can actually put an intention into when you're creating these things, and you can add more benefit. It's an energetic benefit that you really can't put on a label, but it exists in this product. I feel like with the hand, look at the hand coming through. The hand coming through. There is something here, and maybe you do something for your work, and it's like, well, I really can't change my job. I've tried to look around. I've taken some courses on different, I don't know, different things that you can do that have to do with your spiritualism and activating yourself more, and it just doesn't seem feasible to create a business out of that, or you can't. But there's something that you do, and I think it was in a Libra reading a couple of years ago, and it's funny how it comes in now, that I did all the zodiacs, and why are you so important to the world? What does your energetic placement do for the world? And one of the things for Libra was that they do things that initiate a chain of events that, and I'm saying this because I see it here in this energy that you have. You do things that initiate a chain of events that are going to cause some sort of big karmic healing. But you will likely, the one thing that you just don't get to see is it happen. Because often it happens generational. I think that was something I pulled in. I think that was Libra. And it was like profound healing, profound changes to society or groups of people's course, you know, where they go with something. You could see, like, you could just use an example like Martin Luther King. I mean, his life was ended so soon, but yet he still made such a major impact, and that still echoes through, right? Like that he would not have seen with his living eyes, these changes. There's something like, but I feel like the changes that you make happen in this lifetime. You just don't see it because it's somehow disconnected from you. There's something that you're doing here in your life, and it could be your work, but it might feel like maybe you drive a bus. But, you know, I'm telling you, if there are other people too that they're very empathic and they can get in a situation and they can immediately feel the energy. Like if you drive a bus, you drive a transit bus, and you feel like, what difference do I make in people's lives? Energetically, you're doing something. I really am getting that. Energetically, God, you are the king of this energy. You own this energy, and it makes a difference in people's lives, and you might not even know, because you couldn't see people get on the bus and there you are, and they just feel happy, or they just feel safe, or they just feel better or okay, as opposed to if someone else was driving that bus who has really low vibrational energy, really negative, very ego-based, couldn't give a crap about anybody. And maybe someday you still get on the bus and you feel like that, but your soul doesn't. Your soul isn't there. And so you change the course of how these people's days are going to unfold based on you just energetically affecting them. How does this shape the course of your life? You may feel that you sit alone often, or that you are not making a difference. But the difference comes from within you. Oh, the Four of Cups. You may feel disenchanted. How this shapes the course of your life. You may feel disenchanted. You may feel like there are more rats than pussycats in the world. But rats make good pets. Rats make good pets. You may feel that you have been making sacrifices. I may not need to sit with your cards. They just keep flowing. Although this little area here, we'll see what the tarot does for me. You may find that, or you have been making some sort of sacrifices in life here based on sort of like a moral, the feelings of a moral obligation to your spiritual journey. And in doing that, you feel like you are on some level denying yourself, or you have denied, or you have missed out on certain opportunities. Maybe there's things that you've seen friends partake in or do, and you've made choices, I'm not going to do that. And maybe you see them succeeding. It's some level of success for them, but yet that might be high vibrational for them. It may not have been high vibrational for you because you are living your own life here. But I do kind of get the sense here that your spiritual journey has become a little bit disheartening. Not feeling like you're making a major impact. And that not feeling like you're unseen. You may, yeah. You're not seen. This is a very difficult energy because it feels like one of the most impactful energies, because it's something that you do day to day, every day. You know, like I could say, I sit here and I'm going to do my tarot, but it's not really impactful to anyone until I do it and I release a video, right? But this almost feels like the minute you walk out the door, you're impacting. The minute you walk into a store, you're impacting, but you're not feeling it. You're not seeing the result of that impact. Because you leave, you've shifted the energy, and then you go. This is the unseen hero. This is really like the unseen hero's energy, and how it feels being at that and living that way. What can you activate in your own life right now? The Siren and the Black. Wow, the Emperor. Wow, that's really powerful. Because you have been in such an unseen for so long, yet so impactful upon others, I do feel like in some way it's diminished how you see yourself. Call in what it is that you want. Call it in. That is the strongest message I'm getting here. What you can activate in your life right now. Call it in. How do you need to call it in? Just do it. Follow your own moral guidelines here. But if those moral guidelines, I feel edgy saying that, obviously never ever step over anyone else's boundaries or impact anybody else's freedom of choice or safety or anything like that, right? Because what I'm trying to say here is that some people may not agree with certain levels of morality and how loose or not loose that is for you. Because there's definitely some sort of secret here. I don't know, maybe you want to be a mermaid. You want to wear a mermaid tail. There's that too, that uniqueness. Being a mermaid, being a unicorn. This egg, the difference between these two eggs is this one looks like it's on fire. Like it's just on fire, like it's glowing so intensely. So there's something that's glowing so intensely within you that really needs to come out. You need to activate this, and it's your truth. And it's the God's honest truth at the same time. Okay, how you can move away from your worries. The vow and the bear. The Three of Wands. There's something I think that you want to devote yourself to. Or maybe you don't. Okay, because moving away from your worries is not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to get the answer that you want to hear. Because Spirit works in mysterious ways. But, well, it's not mysterious, actually. It just, we don't have the whole picture. It's just mysterious to us. I do feel like that there's something that you want to commit to. Something that could be on the horizon. Now, maybe it's in your life or it's not yet. I don't know. There's some level here of me feeling like it might not be, because this bear is looking into the future. And the Three of Wands here, someone is always looking out into the water from the shore. It's okay to commit yourself to certain things. The Wheel of Fortune's at the bottom. There's that barn owl sitting at the top there. Yeah, I think I just got to take a second here with these cards. Okay, I spent quite a bit of time in this because the messages are so deep. And what was so profound was I even got out of my own way and dug the book out and looked at some of the stuff, and it was kind of blowing my mind, because one of the particular things with this shaman that I kind of already touched on was that the shaman archetype exists in all vocations in life. And what were we talking about? Like, maybe you make bread, maybe you drive a bus. But it said that specifically. It said that specifically. And then I even went back into the book. I haven't pulled this book out in a couple of years because I read these so intuitively for such a long time. But then once I pulled out the archetype book, I thought, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to revisit everything. I revisited all these cards. So it was kind of nice. I might do that for all of them. Because, you know, it's always good to remember what we've forgotten. And then maybe that's a message for you too. But the dolphin was also basically stated, not even basically, I think it was perfectly written, that often doesn't even realize the healing power that it has. That it has such a profound healing power. And I feel like, well, I'm not talking about that. Like, that's crazy, right? I mean, how that is even written in the book about these cards. I also get here, it's lonely at the top with the self and the lion. Yeah. But don't distance yourself. Now, there is something too about what these two piles played really well with each other. The area of your life you are disheartened most about or feel the most blocked in, and what you can activate in your life right now. Because it is important to remember that the shaman also goes into darkness. The shaman explores the forbidden, whatever that means for you. And this is definitely still coming up as that. Some sort of forbidden truth within you, something that feels forbidden, is still the best way that you can activate, what you can activate in your life right now. And you may have even taken quite, would describe it as a very righteous path. But in some way here, you're even being given permission to like step off that path for a minute. Because the shaman does not always walk in light. And this is exploring some sort of taboo in your life. Something taboo about you. Being truthful at least to yourself about it. This was pretty cool too, because the vow actually spoke of that the ancestors bear witness to this. And I thought, how crazy is that? Because they talked about like, this is like kind of the bond or the witness to what is being vowed here. And that the ancestors bear, B-E-A-R, witness to this. So there's a question for you in terms of how you can move away from your worries. It's a very simple question. You're either prepared to take a vow towards something, and in doing that, you may be releasing a vow from some other part of your life or another time in your life. But this bear looks into the future. The bear is definitely looking into the future after a period of quiet, of hibernation. And I looked into this as well, and it does actually talk about the universe bearing witness to you, the ancestors again bearing witness to you silently, quietly, when you think that you're all alone in a struggle, that you're not. So I think I've already said like a lot of what's coming out here. Now, I don't necessarily feel like, and I haven't arranged the questions that I ask in this spread to give you all the answers that you need, because when we're talking about spiritual success and activation, like how to activate things in your life, you are always going to be the one that's going to come up with those answers. So this is just kind of to enlighten you a bit about yourself and your journey. I'm going to go and do the extended, and then the extended, I've kind of called it shifting cycles. So we're going to look at your, so if you're shifting, because we're always shifting, going to look at the cycle you are leaving, the cycle you are entering. So in between those two, there's going to be like a void space. So what is your best focus in that void space? And what is the advice for you as you continue to grow and blossom? It's Aquarius. That's what I got here. Thank you for being the guinea pigs and doing this first with me. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.